Hi everyone, welcome back to Spiritual Growth Tarot and Astrology. This will be tarot and I don't know, maybe Lenormand, Kipper, I'm not sure which I'm going to use yet, but Jillian has, she has a couple really good questions, but I'm going to break them down, keep them in separate videos so that they're not too long. So she wants to know if Ghislaine Maxwell had info on Trump that she gave up to be moved to the Florida prison, you know, the one that's more open. So she's in an open type of prison now. And then, if so, what was the info? And did Ivana rat out her? Or rat out Trump, I guess, before her demise for self-protection. Okay. All right. Well, I'll see if I can handle these. All right. Let me bring the camera over here and get this going. Hold on. Okay, so I decided to use... finally decided to use Ciro Marchetti's Kipper. And the first question, I actually want to change up the question a little bit, Jill. I want to ask why. First, I want to ask, why was Ghislaine Maxwell moved? Why was she moved to that more open prison in Florida? Let's get that bottom line first. Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So, I don't know if she had a female attorney. I'm wondering who this woman is here. Let's see. Well, it was a strategy of some support. Could have been two attorneys. Shoot. This is really interesting. This is more than, but it's more than these two people. There is definitely something deceptive going on, and this did have something to do with some partnership. Wow. So with this toil and labor card here, This one brings in the element of a lot of little pieces of something. So it could be, maybe it's so that she could, in this more open prison, work and not be so depressed, because this card is all about depression. You know, this is like being tortured with worry and stress and not sleeping at night at all. It's way worse than the Nine of Swords. This is just like major serious trouble and self-destruction. Now, this could have been because no matter what kind of prison you're in, nowadays you are, at least in the United States, you are given psychological help. This would be a supportive woman. And this is some type of a strategy to have her in a more supportive type of community. Yeah, this is interesting. But my answer card down here is all about dishonesty, some deception, some, sometimes it's like a hidden enemy. So I don't know who the mature man is. I know, Jill, you wanted to know if she had information on Trump. I honestly don't know that he has that kind of power. This feels to me like these two people feel to me like psychological support. And this card is often my card that comes through for, people that come to visit. So it could be that where she was, she couldn't have any visitors at all. Except, of course, she would always have her attorneys. And then, like I was saying before, some psychological support, like, psychologists. Like a licensed clinical social workers type of a person that's for prison. That's interesting. And notice how whomever this supportive woman, this is a card for somebody who holds confidence for you. And she knights here to the gift, but then also to this something that was deceptive. And this card is definitely all about the strategy. Some strategy. Now, the High Honor card is about a person's reputation, but also passing. It can sometimes be a card of like passing some test. So maybe she was tested. Then again, this is also my card for tall buildings. So it could just be like something to do with the structure of the prison. I don't know. It's also one of those cards that has to do with older and, older age. So maybe they were thinking of long term. Maybe they were worried that she was going to literally, try to take herself out. But of course she should have been watched. But maybe the prison she was in before was just way too dangerous for her. But this would have been, the community card would have been some other organization, council type of experience that this woman would have had to answer to before. And there would have been this strong bond. But there is still something a little deceptive going on here. There was some dishonesty that got her out of where she, let's see what was on the bottom of the deck. Poverty, distant horizons, maybe somebody paid. I don't know, honestly. I mean, it's the only thing that I can say that's clear about this is she was having, like, this is the dark night of the soul, but just doesn't stop, right? And I really, truly feel like these two had this. Maybe this guy is just the one that was deceptive. And maybe this guy, because, he's headed this way, this guy had the strategy to go to this woman. And then she had some control. Maybe this woman was deceived by this guy. And she had some control over going before the parole board. I'm thinking this would be the stand-in card for a parole board or whatever organization, warden. I don't know what you would call it, to get her moved. But I feel strongly it had to do with her depression and her inability to do some type of work that might keep her healthier at an older age and let her receive visitation. Now, there's another possibility that she was assigned, a psychologist type of licensed clinical social worker, whatever, that type of person would be. And this person was actually deceptive because she didn't like going to where she had to go to visit her. And she wanted her in a more open type of prison, or maybe she, this person, whoever this person is could be a regular visitor that wanted her moved to Florida for her own personal, that can be what the deception is. Because, we have the cards that are touching her, like whoever this woman is definitely elderly, and there's definitely a strong partnership bond here. Normally, this would be a person's mother, but I don't know if her mother's still alive. Whoever this person was or is has quite some power over the whole situation. Okay, well, let's keep going with the rest of the questions. So, did Ghislaine Maxwell have any info on Trump himself? So that means that if the male character, the main male, if he comes through, that'll be Trump. And in this situation, the main female would have to be Ghislaine, even though they're not partners, but this is the only way I can figure out how to read it to identify the people. So did Ghislaine, and if I just get crazy cards that don't make sense, then that means it's no. But did Ghislaine have any info on Trump that she gave up in order to be moved to the Florida prison? Or did she have any info on Trump? Yeah, and if some other people cards come through, then it wouldn't be Trump, but she had info on someone else. And I'll try to figure out who it was, if that's what happened. And like I said, if I just get crazy cards, then it didn't have anything to do with that, as to her moving. Okay, so did Ghislaine Maxwell have any info on Trump that she gave up to be moved to the Florida prison? And if it looks like it was, then we'll look at what was the information. But let's see. Did Ghislaine have any information on Trump? Let me just go ahead and do the cards first. And of course, I'll look at the 2 on the bottom. Okay. All right. Again, with the, she was depressed for a really long time. There might be rules and regulations that can help a person that way that couldn't be, I feel like it has to do a little bit with that opening line, reading where she couldn't get the care she needed, is what I'm feeling. Yeah, and this is an alternate strategy that would be successful. It doesn't have anything to do with lovers. But then, okay, so this is her, and this is the community. And then concern, and there are rules to, take care of. They don't want her, whatever prison that was, they didn't want another. Well, they didn't want her dying in prison. They wanted her to do her time, it looks like to me. Okay, so his card didn't come through. But these cards do make sense. It's just a little bit of the same information using a different story. So this would be the rules. This card would be the stand-in. That would be the rules that the prisons are obliged to uphold. This is the, responsible laws that are in place. And this is also a card that comes in when there's a need for security or stability. And it knights down to her card, And she's looking in this direction. Nothing's behind her. She's looking forward to this. And whatever these rules are, it has to do with her daily existence, the details of her daily existence. I think they were concerned over this long period of time about her depression and developing obsessive compulsive disorders and just gloominess. I think they were afraid she'd try to do her best to take herself out. You know, when you think about her and her psychological makeup, she was a social butterfly. We have to remember that. So she was the type of person that needs community. Whether or not she's manipulating them, I mean, she's the darkest of the dark, right? But she was able to she was so good at what she did because she was able to connect with people and manipulate the hell out of them. I mean, and young girls, it's just awful. Awful, awful, awful. But that's what she's needing. And now the sudden wealth card doesn't have to be anything to do with money. It can have more to do with, they were worried about, any type of like speculation with her. They were probably worried about they were worried about her mental health is what I'm getting here. As far as her giving up info on Trump, I don't have cards to show giving. I have cards that are reinforcing the first reading, but given more information. I mean, like if it wouldn't take an hour or more to do a grand tableau on her, and I don't know how many people would even watch a video that long. And I'd have to put my tripod like way the heck up. It's just like, so I'm getting this in tidbits instead. But I like that her card did come through. She's beholden to the rules and regulations, of course. But I feel like, again, it feels to me like they needed to get her in a place where she could do some work and connect with community members of some type because she was really depressed and this had been going on for a really long time and they were looking at the future and not wanting to be responsible for her demise. And they weren't willing, they're in control over any risky situations about her mental health, which is further knighted to this card up here. So I'm not seeing Trump in this. So, okay, so let's go ahead and move on. Oh, and then here what was at the bottom, again, is someone who's supportive. Now, I'm pretty sure, her dad's long crossed over, but this would be a supportive man that she's in partnership to help her out, which I don't think Trump would do that. Trump's not going to help her out. He'd do anything if he had the power, he would have done something to take her out, right? Yeah, because that's just, okay. She's a liability to so many people. But these two spreads tell me truly that they're trying to protect her. Because I'm thinking they know that she's a liability to these darker characters. Okay, so let's look into Ivana, and this is a whole separate topic, and so I'm just going to keep going. Make sure this video isn't too long. But did Ivana rat out anyone before her demise for self-protection? So Ivana. Did she rat out anyone before she fell down the stairs? I really don't get that anyone pushed her, but I do get that there was tremendous neglect. Sorry, I had to scratch my head with my chopstick there. I get that there was neglect. She was left alone when she shouldn't have been. When she had been in a frail position for quite some time. But I don't know. Other readers might disagree with me. I don't know. I'm just telling you how I feel about it. But anyway, let's see. Maybe there's more information that'll come out there. I can double check into the conditions around her fall, and we can also see what else she did. Did she rat out anyone? Let's see. It's an interesting question. Ivana, again with a community card. Yeah, she lived in a tight-knit neighborhood in New York, and she had a tendency to go out and get her. Or she didn't tend to cook for herself. She tended to go out and get. She had a couple restaurants that she liked going to. Okay. Are these all? There we go. Now those are all in. Okay. That might be her apartment building. Oh, that could even be falling down the stairs. Long time. Okay. Pathway down the stairs. Now, this wouldn't be her. She'd be the main character, but this would be a supportive woman. Yeah, she was very restricted. Okay, so I probably will have to do another spread. But anyway, let's see. Did she rat out anyone? I'm not showing anything about her giving information. We have no communications. We don't have the communication card. We don't have the giving. What we have is a community of bonds, strong bonds, that was part of her daily life. And she was literally moving through life feeling like it was very hard to get around, feeling like it was a very laborious type of a process for her to get around. And that had been going on for quite some time. This is the card of 2 years or more. She was under the labor of how do I get around. She was having trouble with mobility. And this may be that some woman moved in or was supposed to move in to help her out, but there was some restriction. She wasn't there when she was supposed to be. Now, this shows her abundance. This shows that she was a very abundant woman and had been for quite a long time. And she did have that community of support. And there might have been some strategy with her mobility, and to maybe they tried to get her to move, because these two cards night together. This could have been family members. Like, I think Eric was supposed to not have lived too far away, but there could have been some way to try to get her to change to a building or be in a place without stairs, and she didn't go for it. She stayed. Yeah. But she was, like I was saying before, she was ordering food out, but then going to walk and pick it up, and they were noticing that, she just ordered takeout, and they were noticing she wasn't getting around very well. And supposedly she got really dizzy and fell down the stairs. And when it's your time to go, but she was left alone. She was left alone. That's what this card is all about. And the last card is often my answer card. And this is all about being trapped, but it's a kind of like trap, your own self-created prison, so she probably didn't ask for much help. She was a very independent woman. You'd have to put yourself in her shoes and think about that. She was her own self-made, multimillionaire. And like hundreds of millions, I think, or 100 million, something like that. She left, was it 90 million? So anyhow, just think of somebody who's that independent and maybe not wanting to have someone live in home and take care of her, even though she could afford it, and she maybe had lined it up to get whatever else she needed. When the time came, she wasn't there. This supportive woman was not there. So alone and in a closed, public building or closed apartment building all to herself, in her own little self-created prison. And she was not getting around well. And it's possible, too, that her mind wasn't working well, because this has to do with your strategies. Yeah, so, and it also has to do with sometimes brain, like memory problems. Yeah, but it does look like she had a community around her that really cared about her. So there's that. Let's see what's on the bottom here. Yeah, this would be somebody not giving what she thought would be coming in. So I'm thinking that whoever the supportive, caring woman was, she wasn't doing her job. Maybe she was just out and about. Maybe she was supposed to get there and just didn't get there in time. There was some restriction on the timing going on. Wow. Okay. But again, did she rat out anyone to protect herself? I'm not seeing, like, her card didn't come through here, and I'm not seeing her giving any information. In fact, this would be a major no card here. This would be a no, she kept to herself. Yeah. So, I don't think so, but these were great questions, Jill. Thank you for them, and I'll get this uploaded for you, and be back later. Okay. Hope you guys are all doing really well. Take care as always. Bye.